Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Falakzeeb Khan, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry giant on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. S. David Naidu. Hello, welcome, Mr. Naidu. We are glad to have you here today with us on FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to have a session with you. So it's indeed my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. So let me give you a quick brief about Mr. Naidu. He is an HR professional with a remarkable track record across the IT, logistic, engineering, facility management, and hospitality sectors, and a wealth of experience spanning several leadership roles along with an array of skills. He has received several accolades and has been honored with several guest speakership opportunities. In his latest position, he has served the St. Regis Mumbai in the position of Director of Human Resources. Therefore, he has achieved significant milestones, namely the highest revenue for rooms in Asia in the sector. So, Mr. Naidu, could you summarize your career journey with important highlights for our clients, please?
Sure, Falak. Thank you so much for allowing me to be talking about myself. Basically, as you rightly said, that I worked in the diverse industry. If you go back to my college days, I mean, I started my graduation was in social work. So it's basically my base started from there. Once I completed there, I started working for an NGO, working for the unorganized sector. Then, that is the time where I created an interest in working with the people, and then I wanted to move into a corporate. So I did my full-time post-graduation in, capital management, human capital management and employee relations. This is from Mumbai University. It's a master's degree. This was way back in 1996. And since then, I am in the industry in the HR domain. So I started my career basically with an IT company, which was into education rather. So that is where I basically started more into hiring, recruitment, and getting the talents within the organization. That was obviously a small stint, and then I moved to a company, into facility management. So basically, they were into industrial catering as well as facility management, and this is where I learned more onto training and development, talent acquisition, and all that. This was one of the important portion because we had a lot of people hiring for all our clients across the Western region. Then I also worked with courier industry, which is logistics. That is where I actually also learned about industrial relations, because that was a company where there was a very strong union dealing with day in and day out. I have to deal with these people, have negotiations and problem resolution. So it's a great opportunity for me to learn the industrial relation part of it. Then I moved into hospitality. I mean, this was an industry. No, sorry. I mean, I moved into engineering company where I again worked for a small time, but immense experience there in terms of employee relations. There is where I actually transformed my HR from more into an admin work to a business partner. So really understanding the business, trying to contribute towards the business, and what can an HR as an resource help us in building the business and sustaining them, and at the end of the day, making it as a profit center. And then I moved to hospitality. I mean, I spent major or most of my time in hospitality industry for the last 17 years with the hospitality. And let me tell you this, hospitality industry I found as one of the most challenging among all the industry where I have worked in. Uh, to tell you why, it is very agile, very dynamic. You might be knowing that, hospitality is an industry where, the people, it's a people industry and the people has to serve people. And when you're dealing with people, there are a lot of emotions which comes in. Every day is different. The solution cannot be 1 + 1 = 2 because the situation is totally different and it depends on how a person is able to solve a problem and resolve it. So it is very, very critical to have people who are very emotionally stable. When I say that emotionally stable, it's not only the leaders. Yes, of course, the leaders plays a very important role, but it right from the grassroots level, from the first person who's meeting the guest, uh, and to the last person, which is the general manager of the hotel, has to be emotionally very stable because you need to take care of this guest because, there is a saying, uh, there is something called a service profit chain, which talks about a happy guest. When a staff is happy, he will keep the guest happy, and a happy guest will come back. That's the profit service chain. And if you do not have people who will take care of my external guest, it will be very difficult for sustaining in that industry. And that's so very important. And I really enjoyed my stint working in the hospitality industry because I feel that a person who can sustain themselves in an hospitality industry can sustain anywhere because it is so very critical. The entire process has become so critical there, and your intervention at the right time is so very critical. Yeah. So basically, this is the industry which really made me grow in terms of being agile, being very demanding. This is where actually we learned the process of onboarding, how onboarding for a people is very, very important because that initial first few weeks and months is so very critical for an employee because they come into a culture which is totally diverse, which is totally dynamic. So onboarding plays a very, very important role in how you orient them and immerse them into the culture of an hospitality. Uh, the professional the performance management is one of the area which is very, very important here because it is, this industry, as I said, is all of people, and managing the aspiration of the people is so very important to retain them in the industry. Uh, in this industry, I also got an opportunity to work more toward the CSR activities, with my background of social work, that gave me an opportunity to move into this area of doing something for the community. And more so, the company also wanted to be caring for the community because we strongly believed that what we take from the community, we should give it back. And that was the whole idea. And that really helped me because of my background, of my social work background, really helped me in developing this area of mine. Apart from that, comp and benefit is something which was again very, very important because to retain people and to to continuously check on what the industry is doing, compensation needs to be really kept on constant check. Uh, the ethical practices is something which I have developed here. Uh, and most importantly, when I talk about St. Regis as a brand, is one of the most luxury brand. So the brand management is something which really made me think differently. and really inspired me to be in that hospitality industry for a very long time. Uh, yes, of course, emotional intelligence is something which was very core in this area, and emotional intelligence is something which every leader must have. It is a very important trait of a strong leader, and that is what I have learned here, and that is what I was able to impart in terms of training. Yeah, and health and wellness is another area also. It's very, very critical and important when people are working in a very, very stressful situation, uh, especially during time. We it was very, very critical for every you know employee who's working in the hotel to be very calm, composed. So the concept of wellness, which came in and become so critical for everybody, and which has become now a part of the entire process in any industry rather. And to talk about our industry, it is even more critical. So great emphasis on health and wellness is something which we were really imparting on our employees. And today, even in every industry, the buzzword is DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion. That is something which we have strongly, and hospitality is an industry where we get a lot of opportunity to work with multi lingual people from different location, gender, and obviously we also get an opportunity to induct differently able people in our company, because over a period of time, even I have found that even they are the great resource for your organization. At times, they work in front of the house, and most of the time, we use them at heart of the house, which we call at the back end. So yeah, so these are some of the great you know uh, experiences I had in my journey so far.
That's really very interesting and wonderful to know indeed. So, as you have handled various functions in the HR domain, which of your roles do you enjoy the most and which you find most challenging?
All right. Yeah, when you talk about sourcing, which is the talent acquisition and talent management, is something which is very, very critical, which I really enjoy. I wouldn't say that is only one. There are a lot of other things like the employee relations, the counseling part for an HR in our hospitality industry. Uh, the CSR activities, which I talked about, because that is something which I really enjoyed. Because when you really work for the community, it gives you a sense of satisfaction at the end of the day, and obviously engaging the employees in the organization to do their bit for the organization and for the community. And obviously, governance. Compliances is something which is a core for us as an HR in any of the organization. So I also got an opportunity to appoint as a compliance manager from the board of directors to handle the compliances for my hotel. Uh, so that not only includes the labor side of it, but also the environment side of it. So that is something which I really enjoyed in my tenure. Uh, when you deal with in a hotel industry, as I said, it's all about people. So you get to know a lot of people as you're interacting with during the interviews. You come to know a lot of traits about the people. Right from the doorman to a chairman of the company is what we interact with, and we hire them. So that is something which I really loved. Uh, and if you asked about the challenges, uh, the biggest challenge what we faced in this industry was high turnover, the attrition in the company. Uh, the retention part of the employee plays a very critical role here. One, because of the competition. Two, because of the kind of, the stress level which is there involved in this industry. You have, it's not a fixed working hours which you have. And it's basically, as I said, it's a very, very dynamic industry. It's not a cup of tea for everybody, So there are people who come, most of the time they are able to, stick on with the company, and if they are not able, they just quit. So we used to have a lot of attrition. So this is something which was really a challenge, because it's not only, hiring. There is a lot of thing which goes behind. There is when I see a cost of the hiring goes very high when an employee leaves, because this industry is all about emotionally connecting with our guest, and it takes time to build that kind of relationship with a guest when they start interacting. It's not that the day one and you become very close or you connect emotionally with the guest, because it takes a long time. And and once that relation is built, and when you have the people leaving, that connect is gone, and it takes again a lot of time to again, first of all, inducting them, understand the culture of the organization, started building that kind of rapport with the guest. And in a luxury environment, what we sell is all an experience. We don't sell rooms. We don't sell food. We don't sell spa. It's all about experience, and experience is all about personalization and taking care of, the every need of a guest who walks into your hotel. And if you do not know what are their needs, wants, and expectations are, it becomes very difficult to give that kind of personalized experience to our guests. And if we do not have that connectivity or continuity of our employees working in our organization, there is a lot of disconnect. And that is where becomes a pain point when an employee leaves the organization. And that is where I felt is the challenge.
So you have been accoladed with several awards. Which of them do you believe as your biggest achievement, and why?
Well, so I've been applauded for as a best HR leader, the top 50 in Asia Pacific. But one of the important award which we received as for our CSR activities for our property, and I felt it is very, very critical, because when we started doing our CSR activity, it was not a mandate for us. The mandate thing, I believe, came in 2014 when the CSR became a mandatory activity, where so 2% of the net profit was to be used for CSR activities. But we started all with our heart. As I said, my background was from a social work, so I always had an inclination to do something for the community. So wherever, during the 17 years, I had worked in 4 different hotels, and everywhere I had an opportunity to do something for the community. So be it an orphanage, be it a home for the aged, or be it an unemployed youth. So basically, I had an opportunity to have ourselves associated with one of the NGO in Dharavi, which was one of the largest slum in Asia, rather. So we found that there were a lot of unemployed youths there. So we wanted to encourage them to be self-employed or stand on their own feet rather than going into antisocial elements. So what we decided is, like, we made a small course, hospitality course for this youth. We just had about 3 months course where we talk about housekeeping, about F&B service, and about housekeeping. And we bring them to the hotel and we train them, give them a practical knowledge about how an hotel industry is. And we have a lot of this back-end jobs which can be easily learned and done by these youth. So we educated them and we employed them in our hotels. Uh, the second thing what we did was we had some human trafficking survivors who were rescued by this another NGO. So we also said that why not look at these people, who does not have any kind of a livelihood. It was a big risk for us, but then we said, okay, let's take a chance, and we trained almost about 3-4 of them and employed 2 of them in the hotel, again in our laundry, so which is a back-end job. So that was something which was really appreciated by the community and by the organization as well. So basically, we were applauded and awarded for this initiative for my organization. So I think that was something which was really an achievement because it gave us an opportunity to touch the lives of many. And it also gave an opportunity for the employees who are working in the organization to contribute towards this cause, and which I felt was a very noble cause. People who are never been looked at, not been thought of, giving an opportunity to work in a luxury brand and working in a an environment which is totally different is something which I really cherished, and I'm really proud that we had made a difference to some people.
That's, yes, indeed, actually a commendable achievement, I must say. So when we talk about ESG, how and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Okay, as I said, being in HR, I have been compliance was one of my core area. And I also told about, we've been nominated. I was nominated as a compliance manager from the board to take up the entire compliances, which in one environment as well. Well, at that point of time, I didn't have much idea about what ESR is, how it is a mandate requirement, or not a mandate requirement, or it is much talked about in the corporate world. I had got an opportunity to join the IDP program, which is Independent Director program, and that is where I got to know about this. Raja, there's 2 things: the corporate governance. I was into compliance. I didn't have much idea about what corporate governance is, and so basically, I said it is close to me. It's something which I have been doing, and this is something which a company also has a requirement, which is a mandatory requirement of. There is a committee called an NRC committee, the compliance committee, the corporate governance committee. So this is something which I was really associated with then, but I didn't have much idea about how this can be on a big thing in a corporate world, and especially at the board level. So I really enjoyed the different the portions which we had gone through during our course, which had online courses. We also had some notes which was given it to us, and plus it gave us an opportunity to even Google more, learn more about it as to how the other industry is. And plus, we also got an opportunity to learn and hear from some of the corporate leaders who are in the industry. Obviously, through the IDP programs, through having those live sessions with the leaders, has really helped me in understanding and having a different perspective of how that environment, social and governance plays an important and a critical role. And come in the near future, it is going to be even more critical. though that ESG is not got that kind of importance in India as of now. But if you see, in the international boards, I think this is one of the critical area, and I feel that is what is given also to understand that ESG reporting is something which is going to be the future, and that is where I created that kind of interest in there, and wanted to pursue in that area of ESG and corporate governance.
That's really very great to know. So I want to know, like, what values do you offer to the corporate world?
As I said, ESG, corporate governance is something which I think is very, very critical for any industry. We see a lot of corporates, winding up, going into bankruptcy, and we see a lot of cases is being attributed towards the corporate governance, how the governance is. Maybe there are a lot of things which is supposed to be managed as per the compliance, but it's not happening. One, because the board itself is totally at some time very lenient towards it, but it's a very critical area, so that the shareholders investment on the company is relying on the board of directors, and it is the responsibility of the board to ensure that the governance is looked at very critically, and so that the organization is sustained for a longer time, and at the same time it builds that kind of trust within the shareholders. And obviously, in the long run, is definitely going to be a win-win situation for all, even for the employees who's working in the organization, be it the shareholders or be it any stakeholders of the company. When you have a clear laid down governance policy in the organization, it is going to help all the stakeholders, as I said, and it will definitely impact the bottom line, and able to sustain in the market. So, which I think, with my background, with my experience as far as governance is concerned, as far as the CSR activity is concerned, as well as the environment part, which I had certain engagements and involvement in my last career. I would be able to really add value in the corporate world, because those are one of the critical areas to sustain an organization. So that is where I feel very confident now that being in the board or being as an independent director, it will be a great responsibility on us. And at the same time, it is not an alien job for us. It is something which we have been doing it, but we have now learned how it is more critical and how it is more, organized, and so very important for an organization. So yes, this is what I feel I will be able to contribute and offer to a corporate world with my kind of experience and knowledge.
That's really very great and very interesting to know indeed. So when we talk about technology, Mr. Naidu, I would like to know what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology, and what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
Right, Falak, as I said, 27 years in the industry, we have come from a lot of manual activities then, and what we see now, because of the automation, I feel, almost about 30 to 35% of the job is being taken over by automation, and which is a great thing to see. When I talk about the attendance, when I talk about uh, the payroll, the performance management, the data management, which was all done manually, is now being taken away. Right, a person who used to spend almost about 50 to 60% of the time in on their attendance, doing it all manually. When I talk about the leave management of the people, it is now all seamless. And at the same time, it's a great experience for an employee because they don't have to be worried about keeping a track of their leave or tracking a track of their payroll or about their attendance. It is all on their on the mobile phone. So it becomes so easier for all the stakeholders in the company. So it's created a really a value add-on to our activities. When I talk about recruitment, the automation, because of the automation, we have this ATS application tracking system. It has become so very easy for us to filter the application which comes into your organization. Now today, you put an ad, you have thousands of people who are applying. It becomes so very difficult and practically impossible to screen those candidates. So with the use of this ATS, you are able to actually find out, what are the requirement of the organization and does that candidate match that requirement. So it has really helped the organization in reducing the time and efforts and getting the right people for the right job. Obviously, the technology also helped us and to understand about the people. I mean, about what people are doing, what their motivation level is. Uh, Getting a feedback which is automated, which can be done anytime and seamlessly. Even when we talk about learning and development, there were times, especially in our industry, where when I say it's so dynamic, it becomes very difficult for our to get the employees to our training room together and train them. With the LMS system, the learning management system which we have, it becomes so easy. We don't have to get the people in. It is basically so flexible that whenever the employee want to have time, whether be it at work or when they are traveling or when they are home and they want to acquire some certain skill, it is there. And it serves both the purpose. The organization feel, the requirement which is there from the organization in terms of the training which needs to be imparted, it is done. And as far as employees concerned, they also become very confident and motivated and trained in that area. So the other piece is the employee well-being. Especially during the COVID time, there were people were going stress, and there were a lot of layoffs which has happened, which has really created stress among the employee, and there were a lot of employees who are not willing to come and talk and express themselves to their leaders. So we were able to get an app, and we have the counselors where the employee were able to connect themselves and speak to the counselors and reduce the stress levels. So that's something which the technology has really played a great role in that area, because we never thought that a person who is kind of a stressed can be healed or helped remotely, and this is something which the technology has done today. So it's something which is really when we talk about our mental health of our employee, I think this technology has really done a commendable job in that area as well. And obviously, due to technology, I think during this COVID time, the work from home or remote working is something which everybody started doing it. I think without technology, this wouldn't have been possible at all. Industry where they never thought about letting off their offices are now letting off their offices and making them work remotely. So this is something which is the power of technology, which is done. When the future looking ahead, I think maybe the LOT, the AI, MI, or the machine learning, blockchain is definitely going to help us in transforming the HR in terms of automation, in terms of responding to the candidates directly. We have bots as of now, but the entire process from uploading the position to interviewing to screening the candidates and selecting the candidates. I think over a period of time, everything is going to get automated. There would be a time where it would be like kind of an ATM. It would be like anytime manpower we talk about is going to be something which an organization can have with the kind of the transformation which is happening with AI and ML. I think this is the future going to be, and that future is for good, because it's a big challenge in getting the people, and it's a nightmare for most of the organizations, because it's not easy to get people, and it is kind of very monotonous, even for a hiring manager or a hiring personnel, to get doing the same job over and over and over again. It becomes very mundane for them. So I think technology is going to take over this in the near future. When I talk about big data and predictive analysis, will definitely help us in enabling more sophisticated productivity analytics for business decision. Because today HR is not working in silos. It is a business partner. It has to understand what is required for the profitability of an organization, and it can only be done when you have a data in place. And this is what analytics will definitely help. See, technology and also helped me in opening an organization. I was given an opportunity to open a property in Maldives. Maldives is an island, right? And when I was I opened a property in Mumbai as well, where when we actually hire people, it's a face-to-face interview, right? So every candidate, especially when we are working in an hotel industry, we meet every candidate and we hire them. So when I was in Maldives, 95% of my hiring, so we almost hired about 450 people to open the property, and my 95% of the hiring was done through Zooms. So it was like hiring through Skype that time, through all the virtual mode. And you can just imagine, if we wouldn't have had this kind of technology, to just imagine how can we do that kind of hiring. It was so cost effective, getting the candidates to the property and doing a face-to-face interview. It's damn expensive when it comes to Maldives, right? And I was so fortunate that we had the best talents. It was one of the luxury brand. Again, it was St. Regis Maldives. We successfully opened, and it is successfully performing with the best talents in the organization. So I think technology has really played a very pivotal role in our organization, for our organization. And I think there is no end to it. And I see a lot of opportunity. I mean, you talk about ChatGPT, which is coming in now, which has already come in, which is really doing a great job in terms of getting all your assistance job done. right? You do not require to spend a lot of time in drafting your letters. I mean, you just command and you get a best of the proposals, you get best of the drafts, you get best of your you know solutions from there. So I think the technology is really going to make a huge difference in the days to come. And I see a lot of opportunity, and it is a welcoming opportunity for everybody.
Yes, that's there. True indeed. So, as you know, we are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So, what are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Hemal Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
I think a big kudos to Zehan and Hebel for this initiative, because this is actually really critical and important for people like us, and even for people who are there in the industry as of now. Cross-pollination of knowledge is really important, so that we learn from each other, exchanging of ideas, best practices, innovations. It gives a fresh perspective and solution to various colleagues and the various challenges which are there in the industry. Something which I have not experienced, I can learn from others. I can learn from some other, the failures of others. So you do not have to fail to learn. So you have to learn from the failures of the others. So this becomes a great platform to exchange those knowledge. It's the opportunity to network with people, right? Today, in fact, we have this forums which has been created. So even though we do not know them face to face, but we really network well. We know, it's a great opportunity to understand, the other industry, how it is different. It is only when you interact, when they bring up their issues, when they bring up their problems, or when you interact with them. So it's really understand what is, and that is basically a learning for you. Uh, you know, individual intellectual is much better than having a collective knowledge and intellect. So when two people come together, there is a lot of innovation which comes in. There's a lot of creativity which comes in. There are a lot of complex problems which can be resolved when this networking happens. So it becomes very, very easy to get solution from others. Maybe they are seniors, they are there are certain ideas which has worked in the other industry. When you put your problems across, you get solutions from different industry, and which at times becomes sometimes becomes very creative in your problem resolution. And obviously, it helps us in your learning and development. You learn from others in this cross-pollination networking, and you enhance your knowledge. So I think this is a very great initiative. The organizers, which is currently Deshan and Haven, should really ensure that you have the right people, and create that kind of enthusiasm, and create that kind of involvement and engagement within the community, so that everybody is engaged. They keep on sharing the knowledge, experience, and and encourage the stalwarts to come and speak in this community, so that one who's speaking will also feel good that he is getting connected, and obviously knowledge sharing is knowledge gaining, which I say, and I think everybody would really love to share their experiences, and and it can really help the community. So Overall, I think if well executed, this initiative has the potential to create a powerful network of industry influencers, and the thought leaders in bringing and fostering that innovation and positive change within various sectors and industries. And this is really going to help, everybody, even people like us, is always hunger for knowledge, uh, and and what a advantage we'll have in getting this free knowledge without any efforts. I think this is something which is really needed, and I am really grateful that this community has been created for our benefit.
These have been really very kind words by you, and it was fantastic conversing with you. I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Mr. David Naidu, for joining us today. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much once again for sharing all your wonderful experiences, your different principles that you follow, your career journey with us. I'm sure, like everyone watching this, it is going to help them grow in their careers too.